had you here right on the button on the countdown clock. Good to see you guys. We have an awesome lineup today, so I hope you brought your seatbelts. You're going to need them. Very exciting day. By the way, it's a great day in America. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great future. I'm so pumped up and excited. Great to see you. By the way, there's Coach Paul Frank back from, are you still in New York or are you getting ready to head out of New York?
I am still in New York. Just got back from the NASDAQ in the room.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him with Leo and Glenn between them, and he's there in front of the NASDAQ. That's pretty exciting. They did the ringing of the bell. Awesome job. Paul Frank, way to represent commercial. By the way, if you need commercial help or have a commercial agent you're trying to recruit, or you have a referral for Paul anywhere in the nation, Paul Frank's your guy. Reach out to him. I wholeheartedly recommend Paul. Love him. I don't make a penny, and you'd be lucky to do business with Paul Frank. He's a first-class human being. Love him. Enough said there.
Appreciate that, Brent.
There, Matt Plummer, your mic's off, so I might as well say hi to you. How you doing, Matt Plummer?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I couldn't resist. I go, you're off. You ready? Las Vegas. Matt Plummer, everybody. The legendary financial whiz kid, profit first himself. Good to have you on today, Matt. All right. And then we have Colton. Colton is my man, and I'm going to introduce Colton. So you're in for a treat today. Colton is I think this year he'll do $300 million in sales. And then he also built a revenue share organization of over 300. And he wants to add the zero. He wants to go to 3,000. And so success leaves clues. I started talking to him about his life, and wow, it was so cool. So if you haven't heard the story, Colton, am I able to tell him about your story, Colton, or do I have to leave? Do I have to omit some things, or can we just tell him the whole story, or do I have to leave out the part about prison and all that, or what?
Might want to leave out the part about prison, but the rest of it, we're good to go.
Okay. So if you haven't heard, Colton, like any 16-year-old, it's very possible, he ended up getting his girlfriend pregnant, and they're like, you can't have a baby. Well, they ran off, and correct me if I'm wrong, Colton. Colton Whitney, everybody. First of all, Colton, say hi to everyone. Say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry for being late. The minute I went to click on, my whole computer shut down. So I scrambled to try to turn it. Yeah.
Just so you know, you weren't late. We started, you were here. They didn't know you were late, but that's okay. No problem. We forgive you.
Thank you.
Right on, right on. So Colton, he got his girlfriend pregnant at 16. They left LA and ran off to, am I right? New Mexico? Is that where you guys ran off to?
No, so we're actually from a small little podunk town outside of Las Vegas. So it's a very small town. When I say small town, everybody's like, oh, I'm from a small town too. I'm like, we had 100 kids in our graduating class, same kids from kindergarten to senior year, no stoplights, one gas station, one grocery store. Like, it's a real small town.
What's the name of this small town? Come on, Coughlin, give it up.
Napa Valley, Overton, Logandale. People know it as different things, but nobody's ever seen it. You'll pass it on the freeway and not even know there's a town in there.
What's the population where you grew up?
At the time, it was about 4,000 people when I was growing up. So a real small town.
All right. Well, we're gonna fix the whole small town image. Steve Hillier, unmute yourself. He's from Berry Creek in the mountains. Steve, what was the population of Berry Creek?
Okay. Maybe 1,500.
Now that's a small town. That's like triple the size.
Yeah, I bet you there's more than that, but it was small.
Yeah. Very small. So back to you, Colton. And somebody's not muted. I can hear you talking there. But Colton, I've been telling people he went to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I made this huge story about New Mexico because I really did think you went to New Mexico. So you're ruining my story here, Colton. But okay, so I don't know how I got Albuquerque, New Mexico, but it was my truth, and I shared it many times. And so you guys, what I understand, this is going to be funny, you can correct me, but you went to this small town outside of Las Vegas. You went back to where you're from, and you stayed till you were about 24, from 16 to 24. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I grew up in Overton, the Napa Valley, small town. Had my daughter, obviously very young. Wasn't planned, but that's her back there. She turns 18 this year. We're starting to tour universities now, which is just such a trip. But thankfully, I graduated 2 years early because I hated my small town. I wanted to get into real estate. And I had a gentleman by the name of Frank Napoli, who was my mentor in Las Vegas. He was an absolute legend there. And I fortunately had a mentor who took me under his wing. This was during the booming days of 2008 in Las Vegas, when everything shut down and it was the worst industry in the world to get into. But I was a kid and I used to dig ditches for my dad's construction company. And I was like, well, Dad, I'll get into construction. I'll get into business with you. And my dad, thank God, said, absolutely not. You'll never be in this business. So he allowed me to get into real estate. I graduated 2 years early, got emancipated, which I have an amazing relationship with my parents. Like, it's not that I didn't have a great family, but they wouldn't let you sell real estate if you weren't a legal adult. So I remember watching MTV Cribs and or MTV, and Macaulay Culkin emancipated himself from his parents because they're stealing all his money. So I was like, Dad, look, I was like, I can emancipate myself from you and I can get into real estate. So he agreed. He showed up to court with me and we did that whole process. And so I got into real estate when I was really, really young and started in Las Vegas. Loved it there. We started selling a whole bunch of real estate the year we moved out of Vegas, which was when I was 24. We sold 412 homes, but that was Vegas. And that equated out to like $3 worth of real estate. So loved California, always liked the weather, liked the beach, didn't want my daughter growing up in Las Vegas. Didn't like the lifestyle. It was never for me. And we moved out here about 10 years ago.
And so you had to reinvent yourself in Southern California. Orange County, was it? Or where'd you move to?
Yeah, so we're in Orange County.
I got one fact right. And his girlfriend got pregnant. I got that. I got 2 facts right. So I asked him, here's the interesting part. I said, so how in the world did you just move somewhere you've never been and then become successful again? And he said something that was really cool. Do you remember what you said to me? I had a knack for what? Do you remember what you said?
Just putting myself in rooms with people who are a lot smarter than me.
Bingo. He got in the right rooms. Tony Robbins says it. Grant Cardone says it. John Maxwell's get in the right rooms. And so you got in rooms for people that were way smarter than you. And then this is really crazy. You guys won't believe this. What did you do in those rooms? You heard them share information about how to make it real estate. And what did you do?
I'm a master ripper offer. So you give me an idea, I'm going to steal it and I'll implement it and we'll make it our own. But it's we all act like we're curing cancer, we're launching rockets. It's like we sell used houses for a living. It's a great business. I love this business, but what we do just truly is not that hard. It's not easy, but it is very simple. And it's like all we got to do is have conversations with people and figure out along the way how to turn those conversations into closings. And over the years, we just got really methodical on how can we have the same amount of conversations, but dramatically improve the results. And it's like I'm a very numbers oriented person. I'm very systematic. I like KPIs. I'm a nerd over them. And it's like we got really intentional on, I don't need to have or even when it first started with myself, it's like, I don't need to do more. I'm working my ass off, but I'm not getting good enough results. And it's like, what I need to do is not double my output, not do more. I just got to figure out how to do better with the opportunities and the activities that I'm already doing so that I can try to get some time back. And it's like, once we got obsessed with that, that's really when we started to see massive growth in our business.
I love it. So you just threw out some jargon, like when we talk to our clients, jumbo, FHA, conventional. I love KPIs. And he just kept going. Some of you are going, what's a KPI? Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay, KPI stands for Key Performance Indicators. Key Performance Indicators. He loves to see how's it going with listings, buyers. How's this ad running for buyer leads? This ad running for what are the KPIs on my business? So he's a junkie on that. And you were 24 when you got to Orange County. You're now 34?
Yeah, 34.
And how much business do you think you'll do here in 2025?
We've grown by 100% each year. And by the way, everybody's like, oh, it was overnight. It's like, no, we moved to Vegas and got absolutely destroyed. Moved from Vegas, came to Orange County, thought it was going to be easy. I dramatically underestimated. I found out, I was like, oh, we can just go sell 400 houses a year in Orange County. It'll be so simple. And found out that there's one real estate agent for every 7 people here. So it has one of the highest agent populations one of the highest agent counts per person in the county. And it's just crazy competitive. And it was a lot harder than what we thought. And truthfully, thought I was going to have to go back home. And in fact, my partner at the time was like, dude, there's zero reason for you to struggle like this. We need you in Las Vegas. He called me one day and I was pushing my car home and he's like, why are you out of breath? And I was like, I'm out of gas. And I couldn't afford to get gas. And I had my utilities turned off for 3 months and was showering out of a community shower. And it was a genuine struggle. And he was like, dude, there's zero reason for you to be going through this. I was like,
well,
yeah,
time out. And you had been selling 400 homes a year in Las Vegas, and he's pushing his car home, showering out of a community. I love this story. It's a story of struggle. Everyone thinks it's like just you. It's only you struggling, not the rest of us. Some of you right now are going to push your car home tonight. You're going to do a community shower to no, none of these people. Oh yeah, someone here doesn't have groceries for the kids and you're freaking out how you're going to pay the power bill. Go ahead, Colton, keep going. I love this.
Well, it was genuinely a struggle. We were hiding my car. Like I had to park my car 3 blocks away because it was going to get repoed. It wasn't registered. It had a shattered windshield. It was bad times. And my buddy was like, dude, you got to come home. Like there's zero reason for you to struggle like this. I'm like, dude, there's one thing that I learned for sure the first round when I started in 2008. It's like, as long as I'm doing the right things, all I need is time. And it's like, I've been doing the right things. I've been showing up. I've been doing the output. I'm doing everything that I need to do. And just like an airplane on a runway, as long as I'm giving it enough thrust, all I need is enough runway for it to finally take speed and take flight. And I was like, I'm telling you, I know this feeling. I've been here before. It's about to pop. And then 3 months later, we had like another 15, 20 million close. And that's when things started getting better.
Wow. And so then you just kind of kept finding a groove, and all the way to this year. You'll do how much this year in sales?
So we found our groove. This year we did last year with 225. We grew by 35% last year, which I was okay with. But this year we should be able to pace to at least supersede 325, to exceed 325. So that's the focus.
325 sales or 325 million?
325 million, which comes out to right around 350 sales.
Nice. Poor guy. About 900,000 a house or something. Poor guy. Everyone real quick, play your violin for him. Play your violin.
Hey, it's why I left Las Vegas. I was like, you know what? We're working way too hard to sell this many homes when we can go do this in Orange County and make a whole lot more money doing it. So I was like, I'm young, I'm dumb, I can do this. If I fail and fall flat on my face, I'm young enough to where I can start over and come back home. But I just always wanted to be in the sun.
So what I'm taking from what he's saying, I'm going to open this up for Q&A for you guys in a minute, but he powered through it. He kept pushing. He had belief. He had faith. I've been here before. I know what it's like to struggle. I know it. Enough thrust, enough runway. I'm going to make it to get lift off. And then once you lift it off, it was just, you kind of just got a little better every year to the point where this year you're going to do $325 million. And then the whole time, because he had street credibility, and I know many people who had none, and they have huge organizations of thousands and thousands and thousands of agents without street credibility, and they still did it. So don't think, well, I have to go do 325 million a year or 225 million to beat Colton. But Colton, really without trying, and this will irk some of you, but he deserves it. He has over 300 people in his revenue share organization. He's never really focused on it. And so we're going to talk about, some things there. But he called me and he said, hey, Brent, I've never been to a build. I've never been to Cabo. I've never focused on agent attraction. But because when you're selling at that level, everyone wants to be around you. They want to be by you. And you think, well, that's not fair. It was easy for him. I guarantee you it was easier for him. But it wasn't easy for him when he was pushing his car. It wasn't easier for him when the windshield was bashed out and he was hiding his car from the bank repo people. He paid the price years ago. He was not an overnight success. And so it should be easier for him. You pay the price now, you pay the price later. Some of you will go really fast. I was ready. I'd already been out there for 34 years. And when I saw XP, I just went, I crushed it because I was ready. You could say I was an overnight success. I was a 34-year overnight success. I had some horsepower there. So Colton, he goes, man, I'm coming to Cabo. I'm fired up. I'm coming to Cabo and I'm going to bring my leaders and it's time to switch gears and do agent attraction. I go, man, you're going to kill it. Colton, let me ask you a question. Anytime you focused and it just were unrelenting, does it not work for you? Is absolutely why? Because I copy, and I hate to rip off and duplicate. You hear it all the time, and I'm not putting, you said it too, and everyone says it. I don't like it. Here's the bottom line. You see a great idea and you copy it. And they always say, well, rip off and duplicate. I don't know, the sound of that doesn't settle with me. But my whole life, like I just see things. I see what Mercedes-Benz is, I copy them. I saw what Tony Robbins did, and I copy them. I saw what Andrea Beam did up in Portland, Oregon under Coach Randy Bird, and I copied her. I asked for permission. Hey, can I copy what you're doing? This is awesome. And so I know everyone jokes around, and I know everyone's kidding, rip off and duplicate, but it has a negative connotation. But I'm like, you successfully, when you see something good, copy it. You like their luxury listing presentation? Copy it. Wendy Goss, real quick, unmute yourself. Wendy got into luxury last year. And
hey, I saw your name on there. I didn't want to, I was about to text you.
I know, we used to ride Pelotons together.
Yeah,
absolutely. So Steve Hillier's on here. Steve, unmute yourself. And he goes, hey, how do I get my hands on Wendy's luxury listing presentation? It was, I'm going to use an 80s term, bitchin'. It was awesome. I go, easy. I'll get it from Wendy. So Wendy, you sent me your luxury listing presentation last week, right?
Uh-huh.
And I totally forgot to give it to Steve. He's like, hey, are we going to talk? I go, oh yeah, I got that. So Wendy, I'm going to connect you and Steve, but that's how you do it. You call people and you ask, can I have what you're doing? They're in Minnesota. You're in Las Vegas. You're in Texas. They're in Seattle. You're in Toronto. They're in Miami. If you ask them, they'll give you their stuff. You're not competing with them. Now, if you're in Miami and they're in Miami, it takes a bigger person to give you their stuff because you might go up against them. But even then, I've taught my open house structure here in Sacramento for 30 years. You just don't go up against each other. You rarely do. It's a small world. But
Brent, I've always said we borrow each other's, and it is, and we borrow each other's superpowers. And it's like we by the definition, it's like if you looked at it on paper, I was a little, and sorry, I do cuss. I was a little shitty race car that shouldn't have ever finished the race or even been on the track. And it's like I've always just been really fortunate to when my old beat up car that was breaking down, I've been around like real race teams that had spare parts that they would install into my car. And it's like, now if you pop the hood to what we built, I've got pieces of Kyle Whistle. I've got pieces of Mark Pattison. I've got pieces, like all the pieces of our car that have allowed it to get like, not only to get onto the track, but to finally be a contender and to finally be somebody who can compete with them. It's like the only reason we're there is because we've had people like them who have given us the parts that we've needed. And it's like, we didn't realize it. And we were here and we were doing okay at first. And then I started seeing all this stuff at EXP happen. And it's like, this really did create a model. Like my mentor always said, help enough people get what they want, you'll always get what you want. And it's like, this model literally is the definition of that. And it's such a cool thing because without it, I have no idea where I'd be today, but it wouldn't be here.
No, that's awesome. It reminds me, those of you old timers that are 50 plus, the old Johnny Cash song. He worked at a Cadillac dealership and he finally got a Cadillac and he took a part from 66, 67, 68. And by 78, he built an entire Cadillac from parts that they'd thrown off the floor. It's a great old Johnny Cash song. And you reminded me of that just now, Colton. But here's the deal. We help each other. And Steve's going to have a piece of Wendy's luxury presentation. She get that from somebody else. And then she learned a lot from Krista Mayshore, right? Wendy, wouldn't that be your mentor there? Yeah.
Yeah, I've learned a little bit from everybody. So I've been with Tom Ferry for, I think 4 years, coached with him, and Krista Mayshore. And, we've all paid for coaching to learn how to do the things, but I've never seen anything like EXP, like literally pours into you. And
Absolutely.
So bringing my whole brokerage over here, like everybody's pouring into them. It's so cool.
We're the world's best coaching company that you don't have to swipe your credit card.
Yep. Okay, so back to Colton, though. Thank you, Wendy, for chiming in that. So, Colton, what I say to you when you said, I'm fired up, I'm bringing my leaders to Cabo, I said, man, that's awesome, great, you're going to love it, good for you. And then how that, like, share with them what I share with you.
The conversation basically just went, and by the way, like I obviously idolize you. You're somebody who I've known even before I came to EXP. I have nothing but respect for you, your reputation, how you show up for people. Like you're just somebody who I've always admired. So my first phone call with him was, hey, I'm going to come to Cabo. And he's like, awesome. Who are you coming with? And I was like, oh, I'm going to bring myself and my director of sales. And he basically said, don't come. He's like, he basically said, if you're going to come with just you and your director of sales, I'm looking at your business. You don't got, like, yes, you're going to learn a lot, but if you're going to go on vacation, you might as well just go on vacation. And he's like, if you're going to come to this, you need to make it worth the investment. And he challenged me and he said, you want to guess how many people I brought to my first event? And I think he said 92, something in the 90s.
19 in width. I go, break my record, Colton. Then I told you couldn't do it.
Yeah. So I literally hung up that call and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to change this. And so immediately that night I jumped on the phone. I got 4 people to agree to go by the end of that night. I think we talked at like 9 o'clock at night. By 11 o'clock, I had 4 people committed. And now we have 22. My goal is 30.
Yeah. So instead of showing up with 3, he's going to have 30. He added the 0. So 3 come back and try to speak to 300. But when 30 come back and talk to 300, they'll be 60 to 90 at the next event going, well, we're going to build this summer in LA. We're going to be there. We're not going to miss it. We're going to build in Honolulu. We're going to build in Barcelona. In September, we're doing build in Barcelona. You want to come hang out in Europe, go to Rome, Italy, hang out with Gene Frederick and Susan Frederick and Kathy and I and Pete Metal. A bunch of leaders, come on out. But so Colton is a rock star. So Colton, is there anything you want to share with this group before we open it for Q&A from him? You could talk to him about his sales. You could talk to him about how he's built this group of 300, how he got 22 people committed in the last 2 weeks, and what he's doing to help them get airline tickets and flights and rooms. Like, we're out of rooms. What do you do there? There's an easy solution. We are out of rooms. We've never sold out in January ever. Almost 2 months early, we're sold out. Oh no!
Oh shoot! Uh-oh.
It's not a problem at all. I can answer that question, but it's never a problem. Listen to me, Tony Robbins, 10X. It's sold out. It is sold out, but it's never sold out. Everybody, the rest of your life, I had people go, well, forget it. If Cabo sold, I can't. I'm going to stop promoting it. That is a horrible attitude. I will bring 100 people to an event sold out, and I'll get them all in. Yeah. So you got to have the can do. I'm going to get it done, and we're going to show you how to get it done. But is there anything you want to share with them about just the path to becoming successful? You did a great job. Before we open it up for a little Q&A.
Honestly, I wish I could say there was anything, like, nothing we're doing that crazy. It's just doing the things that we know works and doing enough of it. So, and going through enough repetitions to get actually really good at it. You gave me the best script, and it was just so easy. And it was very me. It's like, I'm not a pushy person, not a salesy person. I'm not I'm not that way. And it's like, your script that you gave me, I was like, oh, see, that resonates. And it's like, I have an agent attraction coach and I love them to death. And I've used so much of what they said. And I feel bad because a lot of what you told me is the stuff that they preach because they learned it from you. And you were the slap in the face that I needed to make me do it. And your pitch was really simple. Brent, I've got an amazing event. It's by far one of the most impactful events that I've ever attended. And I know you'd find it equally as impactful. And then you told me to tier it. And you said, for the people, the big producers, the influencers, the people that we know are going to bring people, offer to pay for their ticket, offer to pay for their flight, offer to pay for their hotel, like, pay everything. And the truth is, I'm trying, like, I'm fortunate to be able to do this now, because there was definitely a long period of time where I wouldn't have. It's like, I didn't have the ability to pay for anybody. But it's like, now I'm trying to buy investment properties and I'm looking, it's like the cash flow is crap on everything. The return is negative if you're here and we're in my market. And it's like, if I'm going to put this, I called my accountant the next day, or my advisor the next day. I was like, hey, do you think I'm crazy for this? And he goes, Colton, no. He goes, you built this and this type of passive income with how much time out of your week every single week? I'm like, maybe an hour. And he's like, okay, so if you were to go just invest into this, do you think that's going to have a higher return than any of the real estate you're going to buy today? And the answer was yes. And he was like, you can literally put the entire thing that you've allocated away from this to buying people that event. And he says, because I have no doubt it's going to work to draw people. So it's like, there's the people who we agreed to do that for, but then there's the people who I'm not going to pay for their ticket. I'm not going to pay for their hotel. However, I will pay for their ticket. I will pay for their flight, but they're responsible for their hotel.
There you go.
The thing that you gave me that worked the best is, Brent, and by the way, I know it's stressful. You haven't gone to this event. You don't have the same confidence in it that I do, because I know these speakers. I know what they teach. I know the impact that it's had on my business. If at any point you walk away from this thing and you don't think it's worth the value, and it's not worth, and you're not going to be able to at least double your money that you've invested into this, send me a text, and within the first 60 seconds, without any explanation, I'll then need your money back. If you tell me at any point at all that you're unhappy with it and that you don't think there is value, I'll send you your money back. There's absolutely no risk for you. And it's Perfect. Like, I know people aren't going to use that. I know the people that are there. I know the names that are there. And so,
is that working for you when you said that? Like, geez, I better go.
Yes. It's so simple. And by the way, I have zero concern that I'm going to have to be sending a memo or writing a check. We got to start getting out of the writing a check, because we don't do that anymore. Yeah, but it's like, I know I'm not going to have to write a check, because I know the value that's there. And just being in the right rooms with those people, It's like, I know I'm going to add at least 100 people to my downline just as a result of this event. And when you calculate that and you calculate the first year bonuses at EXP, it pays for itself. There's zero reason not to make the investment.
I love it. Two things. Number one, I always tell you guys to put speaker view on here, not the gallery view. I forgot. So I was looking at all of you. And so switch to speaker view. I had gallery. And once I switched to speaker view, I got to look at Colton's bicep. That thing is huge, man. That thing's like if someone's dying. Like, I don't know, man.
I got to do something to scare
him, brother. I was like, whoa, that thing's huge. Anyway, and then the second thing is, I was telling him the story of Sean Work. He got 12 people to Cabo 2 years ago on his credit card, and he bought flights, he bought room. 11 of the 12 joined. The 12th one is joining in San Francisco, bringing her beautiful office off of Stevens Creek's Boulevard. She's been in real estate 40 years. Everyone knows her. He's going to be 12 for 12 because they got it. It went from here, I think I should do it, to I know I should do it, 12 for 12. He went from not having a group to having 247 people in his organization. He didn't pay. He brought 12 who turned into 247. That two, we're going to add a 1, not a 0, and go to 1247. And so make the investment in people, you guys. Wendy had a question. Wendy, we're going to go to you. And if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll go right to you at the time we have remaining.
Okay, Colton, you said you had 300 people in your org?
Yeah, it'll be, I have
and
a,
you went try?
yeah, we have a big portion. We have 80 joining today, so it's going to be like 350 something.
Nice. All right. So are you just attracting them because you're a badass and they all want to join you?
No, truthfully, it's like I always did this stuff before. Like I've always liked to help agents. It's something I genuinely have a passion. Real estate is not my passion. I actually am one of the few people who can tell you I hate our industry. I don't like showing houses. I can't stand meeting with clients. It's never been my passion. I genuinely do not enjoy it. However, what I do love is helping other agents do it well. And being at the one thing that I know I have a lot of weaknesses, and the thing that is a strength though is I just need step by step, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I know that is the thing. Like, I'm so sick and tired of everybody like, you got to add more value. You gotta double down. And it's like, you hear these people say this crap on stage. And it's like, if you're like all of us on this call, you're already working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. It's like, dude, I don't have time to double down. I have kids. I've got a girlfriend. I've got a family that I take care of. It's like, I can't double down and still have a quality of life that I'm going to be happy at the end with. And it's like, so, but what can we do to like when you have people, like what does adding value actually mean? And it's like the things that the webinars that I hold and the things that I do, it's just genuinely giving people the exact step-by-step, do this if they say this. Like, I'm very systematic, and that's something that I know a lot of agents struggle with. Because we're salespeople and we like to go, that's not what I'm good at. I don't like going out and talking to clients, but I can create the systems and the processes that allow people to get better results out of the activities that they're already doing. And at the end of the day, I think that's the only thing any of us want. It's like maintain profitability while having the time as if you're out of production, but we do the production partner thing. And it's like when we can find a pain point of a particular agent and you can solve to that pain point, I have the ability to solve an agent's pain points much better than I do a client. It's like if Wendy and I are going up and meeting with the same exact client, she's a total badass. And there's only so much extra that I would be able to do. And it's like, but in the real estate space, people need people like you guys. People need people who know what they're doing. They have the step-by-step instruction. They can show them how to do it, not out of theory, but out of actual practice. It's like, that has been the one and only thing that I've done that I know's brought agents to us, is because we're just showing people what we do, how we do it, and sharing our blueprints and not holding any of it close to the chest.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So we're at the top of the hour. Our 30 minutes is up. If you're in the Northern California or even in the state of California or Portland, fly to Sacramento in March. Colton is going to be our speaker at Placer County Board of Realtors for 2 hours. He's going to unpack how he does what he does, share all of his marketing. It's going to be amazing. If you're from Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon, LA, get on a plane, $39 Southwest, want to get away, fly up in the morning, fly home in the afternoon. It's a day trip, but come hang out with this guy in Sacramento. It'll be after Cabo. He's going to be in Cabo, hang out with him at the pool, at the beach, and obviously in the gym. I will be with you in the gym. I'll be there every day for an hour, brother. I will be right down there. I'm going to be buff like you, baby.
Let's do it.
He has quite yet, but I'm going to get some guns. But anyways, so dude, we love you. That was awesome. He's going to be back on in 8 minutes to do Mastering Sales with Brent Gove. He sells $325 million this year, $225 million in the worst market in 40 years last year in a highly competitive market. I asked him to share 10 minutes, some tips with sellers and buyers, lead generation to get more listings, tips to get more buyers, or how to get a signed listing contract or a signed buyer agreement, or how to negotiate with the listing agent or the buyer's agent. So don't go anywhere. He'll be back in 8 minutes. We're going to do Mastering Sales with Brent Gove in 8 minutes. And we have a solution for the room situation in Cabo. Keep selling Cabo. Tell them to get their ticket, get your registration ticket. We're going to help you get a room, and we're going to unpack exactly how to do that next week on the 1% Club. And rooms become available every week in Cabo. People break their leg, they get in car crash, they lose their passport, they don't renew their passport, it's expired. By the way, I took a picture, Rob. I'm going to say it now. I meant to send this to you this weekend. Yeah. I was walking by, where was I? I was at some store. It was at Staples or Office Supply. Let's see if I can find it. I think I'm getting close. Can I find it? I may not recognize it here. Come on, where is it? I took a picture and I meant to send it to you, Rob, but you'd be proud of me. I didn't want to bother you. Oh, man. I know. I found it. Right here, Staples. And here it is. You go to Staples. Stop. That's you, Colton. You were texting me. I got in there. Passport photos now at Staples. So a lot of you, your passport's about to expire. No, it doesn't expire till 2-3 weeks after Cabo. I'm good. You cannot go. They will not let you go to Cabo if your passport expires 2-3 weeks after Cabo. You don't get to go to Cabo. Believe it or not, that doesn't make sense. That's how it works. So, right, Rob? They're worried that something will happen. You won't be able to get back into America. So go renew your passport. Staples to replace the photos. Now is the time. We're like 50 days out, Rob? Something like that. So it's time to renew. Check the expiration on your passport. Go look for your passport. And with that said, Colton is on in 6 minutes and 30 seconds for Master. Colton, thank you for being on today.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.